Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am Q, your favorite Pisces sun. And yeah, I'm gonna review Justin Bieber's astrology chart. And listen, I've been wanting to present his chart to you all for a while, for a good while, because he's one of my people. Right? He's a Pisces sun. I'm a Pisces sun. And he's one of my people. And we know that there have been speculations about him, his potential relationship with Diddy, right? I did a couple of readings on Justin Bieber not too long ago. And yeah, I think it's time for me to talk about his chart and tell you what I see with his planetary placements and everything that is going on there. So, if you want to hear what I have to say about it, stick around. If not, if this video is not for you, boo hoo. It could be. If you try it, just try it. Just try it. Just, listen to the video, synthesize your thoughts on it, and, let me know what you think about it in the comments. So, all right. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, let me just start with some of the basics. Okay. So Justin Bieber, he is a Pisces sun. He is a Libra moon. He is a Scorpio rising. His ascendant is in Scorpio. And as you can see, he has a nighttime chart. He has a nighttime chart. Okay. And in looking at that, um, his most powerful planet, okay, his most powerful planet is Venus, and we'll talk about that. Um, but yeah, overall, with this night chart, we can look at the chart. We can see that a lot of the planetary action is happening in the lower part of his chart. Okay. A lot of the action is happening in the lower part of his chart, which for me is there are a lot of things going on, as far as his childhood, as far as his upbringing, that, kind of transformed him into the person that we know of him today because, we don't know him personally. I don't know him personally. But yeah, there's a lot of action going on in the lower part of his chart, okay? And again, his Venus is exalted. His Venus is in Pisces. That's a very good Venus. I almost said the P word. My bad. That's a very good Venus. Okay. So his chart ruler is Mars, right? Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, and his Mars is at 25 degrees Aquarius. His sun is 10 degrees Pisces. His moon is 24 degrees of Libra. His ascendant is 29 degrees of Scorpio. And that is, if you get into astrological degree theory, that's an anaretic degree. Okay, those degrees are, listen, you're supposed to learn your lesson. Okay, you're supposed to learn your lesson. You're supposed to learn the lessons of the planet and all of those energies, right? To do what's best for your life. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, if I remember. Okay, so again, his most positive planet is Venus, 20 degrees of Pisces. The natural malefic of his chart is Mars. But the worst, absolute worst planet for this poor baby is Saturn at 3 degrees of Pisces. Okay. All right. All right. So, yeah. So, the first thing, or what really drew my eye to his chart, was Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn down there in his third house. Now, Neptune, you have dreams, you have ideals, you have um this is where some of the illusions around identity, uh, things that, this is the dream world. Okay, this is the dream world, the dream state, where things can get murky. And it's there in Capricorn. Now, being that this is down there in the 3rd house and, the bottom half of the chart, those houses, that's where a lot of things get formed. That's your childhood. That is the people that you grew up around. Moving into, the 4th house, that's a lot of motherly energy. Something tells me that from a child, I mean, because technically, he was a child star, but something tells me that he was sold a dream. I don't think he had that dream himself because we know him as an entertainer. I don't think he ever really wanted to be one. I think that he was molded as a child into being an entertainer because he has talent. He's talented, right? He can sing a little bit, he's talented. I think that he was, I'm not going to say necessarily tricked, but I think that he was molded into seeking success, okay? Molded into seeking success as a child, right? I think that because checking your homie Uranus right there. Uranus is conjunct his Neptune there in Capricorn. Yeah, I think that his foundational years, I think they were shaken up. I think that things were pushed on him by his family, right? By his family, by older people telling him that, your grounding in the world, your footing in the world is to be an entertainer. Okay, and I think that was pushed on him. I honestly do not think that he made this decision for himself, okay? And I think that this dream of being a child star, being forced to do adult things, having to work hard, having to put in all that time and effort and structure into being a entertainer. I think that's coming from these 2 placements there in Capricorn, right? Now, the 3rd house is normally ruled by Mercury. That is the house of communications. Yeah, I don't that's the house of communication. But if you look at Mercury, because Mercury rules the 3rd house, you see that his Mercury is there in the 4th house. But his Mercury is retrograde. I don't think that baby had the heart in him to say no. I don't think that he communicates well. I don't think that he has the courage to communicate well because even though his Mars is conjunct this Mercury, that Mercury is retrograded. I think there were a lot of things he wished he said growing up. I think that I think that he wished he would have established his boundaries verbally. But that Mercury is retrograde and it's not the worst thing ever. It's not the worst thing ever, but I think that many times whenever Mercury goes retrograde, um, I think that he thinks about the past. I think that he thinks about the past and the shoulda, coulda, woulda is what he should have said, right? But I do think again that the dream of being an entertainer, I think that was sold to him. I think that was, you know, the dream of being an entertainer and it was sold to him. I think that he was molded to fit into it. Um, but I also think that the dream of being an entertainer, I kind of think that he took that and he transformed that into when I have my success and when I have this money, I can use it to create the lifestyle that I want. Okay, whether that's safe haven or things like that. But I think that those 2 are very, very harsh for him in Capricorn because, Capricorn, is ruled by Saturn. Saturn will put a lot on you. Saturn will put a lot on you, and I feel like a lot has been placed on him since his childhood. Okay. Now, yeah, this Mars in Aquarius. The Mars is okay there. The Mars is okay there, but I kind of feel like um he had the range to just do whatever he wanted because I think that kind of came with the territory of this this illusion, this let's be an entertainer, right? Because how old was he? I don't even know how old he was when he first entered into the music scene, but yeah, I think that he flew off the hinges. I think he flew off the hinges because, if you're just adding air to fire, it's gonna spread. But I think a lot of it has been covered up for him to try and keep that image for him. But yeah, I really feel like he got some skeletons in his closet, some that he initiated himself. But yeah, that's another story. Now, looking into his Venus, again, he has a night chart, so Venus is the best planet for him, right? Venus is exalted in Pisces. Okay, so you are free to be creative. You're free to do all of the things, right? You're free to do all of the things. You're free to be creative, and that is the fifth house, right? Right, right. You're free to do all of the things to be creative. But he's he doesn't have much grounding in his chart, right? His personal planets are in free flowing signs like Mercury and Mars. They're there in Aquarius, that's air. Even though Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, there's some air there, right? That's free flowing, right? You don't really capture air. And then water, water has to have some type of container. If you pour some water on the counter, it's gonna run all over the place, right? Water needs to be contained, it needs to be filtered. It needs to have something to give it shape and form. He's very, very watery. Look at his Scorpio. He has Jupiter there, even though his Jupiter is retrograde. He has Pluto there, his ascendant and his north node. I really think that Justin Bieber, I think he walks into worlds like, yes, he's a physical person and he's here on earth. I think that he spends a lot of time in the spiritual world, I'm not gonna say the woo-woo, but he goes to another place a lot in life. He goes to the other side a lot. I feel like this I don't think that from based on what I'm looking at here, entertainment was not on his original bingo card. Again, I think that people from his past, from his childhood, kind of pushed him into the entertainment world, right? Um, Yeah, he has a moon in Libra, and that is really, really, really squaring um the Neptune, the Uranus and Capricorn. And I kind of feel like, emotionally, his emotional body wants stability. His emotional body wants fairness. His emotional body wants balance. His emotional body wants all of those things, but the Capricorn, even though the Capricorn is focused on goals. Capricorn is focused on goals and how we can make things work and grab all the things, make them material, manifest them in the material. Yeah, that Libra isn't necessarily like here for let's be an entertainer. Let's be a celebrity. There's conflict of interest there. There is conflict of interest there. And I think that with his moon in Libra and in the 12th house, um, yeah, the transformation that should be taking place should not be attached to the material world, right? And I think that's why that conflict is there. Um, yeah, that's why that conflict is there. Now, if we just look, a little bit closer, Saturn is there in Pisces. Listen, Saturn is doing its best to ground him, but there's no grounding There's no grounding. It's not the worst place for Saturn, but I kind of feel like again a lot was put on him as a child, and I think he's been trying to figure out how to filter it out, how to filter things out. I think that part of his problem is, and I'm not gonna say part of his problem, but I think that I think that he truly, truly walks in between worlds, and I feel like he is supposed to be, um, he's supposed to be a woo-woo person. His identity, right? His identity, his sense of self, the sun in Pisces. Listen, we are, just being real general here, but we are the mystics, we are the healers, we are people who care about other people, sometimes to our detriment, right? And listen, he's 30, right? He's 30. He's been recently having he had his Saturn return, right? Um, Saturn is definitely going to challenge you and get you to transform, but you got to learn the lessons. Yeah, I think that um with his son, he's supposed to be a healer, he's supposed to be a spiritual person, he's supposed maybe a counselor, something like that. I do not I don't see any mega wow, let's be let's be entertainer vibes here. I don't see those energies here in his chart. Um I think that baby was taken advantage of, okay, by people around him and possibly by whatever his family situation was growing up, right? Um yeah, I think because he knows how to travel in between the worlds. He knows the spiritual. He knows and he wants so much more of it. I think that's why we had seen him turn to Christianity because he's trying to find where his true love is, where this spiritual energy is. He's trying to find that because that's part of what his destiny is to be the spiritual person, is to be the healer, is to be the counselor, is to be the therapist, is to be the person that knows how to navigate the spiritual world while being here in the physical, in the manifest. Okay. He's trying to find that connection. He really wants that connection, but he's trying to do it in a way where he doesn't upset people. Okay. He's trying to do it in a way that does not upset people because unfortunately he's a people pleaser. He's a people pleaser and he's a pushover. Yeah, I said it. He's a people pleaser and he's a pushover. And it's interesting, he had, a baby this year. And I think this baby was part of his Saturn return and part of his, okay, let's learn the lessons to be able to do better, right? To be able to do better not only for himself, but to give that to his child. Because yeah, he's a people pleaser and he don't have a backbone. He does not have a backbone. This is not I'm laying the smack down on your candy ass. That's not who he is. That's not who he is. And the amount of secrets he has, again, I think that with his, that retrograded Mercury, there's a lot of things he wish he had said. A lot of things. He wish he had said, he wish he had pushed them boundaries. But he's very, very fluffy on the inside. And unfortunately, he does not have a backbone. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't have a backbone at all. Mhm. Mhm. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Looking at his Chiron, this Chiron in Virgo, this poor baby. This Chiron in Virgo, listen, what's terrible about all of this is that perfectionism and hard work and all like that it's part of his wound. And what's interesting to me is that his midheaven and his Chiron, they're both in Virgo. And Virgo and Pisces, they're on that axis, right? So we have the perfectionism and let's do all the things and I'm supposed to work for the people, right? I don't think he understands that his working for the people is not supposed to be entertainment. Because technically you are working for the people. You're an artist, you're supposed to, have your songs, you're supposed to be an entertainer, you're supposed to go on tour, you're supposed to make the music videos, you're supposed to do all of these things, right? And he doesn't know how to again, he's a people pleaser. He does not want to let anyone down. But baby, that is diametrically opposed, right? From your son, from his sense of self, where his creativity is. Okay, he was born into the darkness. He was born in darkness. But it's not darkness as in he's an evil person. He was born into the darkness, into the night. He was born, in that spiritual in that spiritual realm. And I think that's where he's supposed to be. Again, and I remember reading something where he said, he kind of wanted to help protect Billie Eilish. Is that the entertainer's name? He wanted to protect her, or let me look out for her, or I want to save her from certain things in the industry. I think that's who he really is, and I think that is his true. I think it's part of his natal promise is to do that, is to be that person, right? But again, he has spent all most of his formative years, his teenage years, his young adulthood. He just turned 30 in the entertainment sphere. And to him, it's just like, oh, well, I don't want to let my people down. But inside, he is longing for change. I think he wants to get out of it. I think he wants to get out of it. I think he wants to get out of it. This Pluto there, and this Pluto is just gonna be like, baby. So what did you learn? What did you learn? You've been through the depths. You've been through the darkness. You've been through a lot of things. What did you learn? Saturn is just like, all right. Again, he just had his Saturn return. Saturn is just like, okay, but okay, so now what? What you gonna do now? What you gonna do now? Okay. He definitely has that Neptune is making a sextile to his Venus. Again, Venus is gonna be that creativity. Venus is going to push that envelope. You can very well live in the land of daydream with Venus and Pisces, especially when it comes to things that you love, your feelings, your emotions, and all that on him being an entertainer. I think those two fuel each other. Then Neptune, because again, okay, a lot of the formative things have happened for him in the lower half of his chart. The childhood, the growing up, the young adulthood, right? So yeah, that the Neptune and Capricorn, okay, the dreams, the illusions, the murkiness, the disillusionment about the entertainment industry. But no, Venus is exaltation in Pisces. You're supposed to like this. You're supposed to like this. You're supposed to love it. So keep going. These two, the Pisces and the Neptune, they're feeding off of each other. Okay. This is like, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to wake up and see that this ain't going to work? When are you going to wake up and see? When are you going to wake up and see? Yeah, he's supposed to be transforming. And I think that he's supposed to really, really let go of let go of the footing hold of the entertainment industry. He's supposed to be fluffy and sparkly like a fairy, and he's supposed to be spiritual and walk in that natal promise of the spirituality, of the transformations, of being the gift giver, the therapist, the counselor. And I hope that he does because listen, we don't know exactly what happened to him, right? He knows what happened to him. He knows what did not happen to him. But if you look at that baby is tired. His spirit, when you look at him, he looked like he worked 16 hours in the mines. Okay, and then got off that job and then had to go drive a truck for the next 12 hours. He looks depleted. His energy is gone. Okay, he looks dusty. He's too young to be looking dusty at the age of 30. Okay, his energy has been zapped. Okay? Okay? His energy has been zapped. He has been used up. But for him, he just can't break away. He doesn't want to make other people unhappy. But baby, you're gonna have to learn to live for yourself and choose yourself. And I hope that he does one day. So, um, this is not a tragic chart, but this is a chart of someone who, certain things aren't for certain people. People who are good at their job, but it's not what they're supposed to do in life. That's him. He's good at being an entertainer, good in being in Hollywood, right? But there's a lot of hurt and a lot of pain there, a lot of hurt and a lot of pain there, and he needs to go deal with it. And that means by not being on stage in front of the world stage, doing what you do with your songs and stuff like that. He's good at what he does, but that's not his dream. That's not his purpose in life. Um, that's not where his heart and his soul is going to truly sing. It's not there. So yeah. Like I said, this isn't the worst chart I've seen, but looking at this water and looking how he's not grounded at all. He's not grounded at all. His person, his spirit is not grounded. He has nothing that's really holding him to reality except for his work in the music industry, but that's not who he is as a person. That's not who he is as a person. Who he is as a person is not supposed to be on front center stage like this. And I truly, truly, truly hopes that he finds peace because his baby is not at peace. He's not at peace. He's not at peace. And again, I think now he's learning what his boundaries are. It took him a while, but I get it. I think now he's learned what his boundaries are, and I think he's setting up those boundaries in a way that's easy for him. But yeah, there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have said this. I should have never did that. I should have never did this. I should have never went there, right? In his life. And I think he's learned some lessons and I think he's trying to deal with all of that now as he's 30, right? A lot of us have learned some lessons, between that 27 and 32 age range, right? Life lessons, things that have helped to shape our life after those challenging points, right? So yeah, that midheaven there in Virgo in the 11th house. Yeah, that's the network, that's all the other people, that's being a star and all like that. But baby, that's where that midheaven is. That's what we know him as. But his true self is down there in the underworld, part of the wateriness of the Pisces Scorpio, right? And this child, he's fought some demons. He has fought some demons. He's come out on the other side. But, being that he's so much of a private person, again, look at that lower half of the chart. Being that he's such a private person, Um, whatever he does moving forward, he'll probably keep it to himself, which is a good thing, right? Right, right. So yeah. Okay. I haven't looked into any of his transits. I haven't looked into, secondary progressions. I think I heard something about him being sued for something recently within the past couple weeks to a month. I haven't really looked. I think I saw that in passing. But yeah, so he came out of this, his Saturn return, right? Difficult times. So, again, I know that this is not the life for him. And hopefully he knows it too, and hopefully he does something about it for his future and, to give his child the things that his child needs, including a good parent, including a good childhood, being a good parent, setting those boundaries, protecting the child, things like that. Because yeah, I think he was molded and kind of sold into the industry. Okay, I don't think that this was not his idea at all. And we all know that children are malleable. So, that's all I really have for this. Again, I wish Justin Bieber well. I wish his child well. And, you know, I wish he and that baby have a great future. His wife too, I guess. But, um, I'm not a hater, but you know, as an energetic person, I sense some things around her. But, that's who he married. Okay, wink, wink. That's who he married. So I wish y'all the best. I wish that baby nothing but safety and love and protection and support and peace and happiness. I wish that to Justin Bieber too. So I'm gonna get out of here. I love y'all. I will see y'all on the flip side. And yeah, I look forward to bringing you more content. Thanks for watching. And if you're new here, if you like this, if you want more of my content, go ahead and hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel, right? I keep it real, honest and real and raw with y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, okay? So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I love y'all. See y'all in the next one.